Hi guys, I'm Dr. Chapa here at Well Health and Chiropractic. I'm excited for you to join me today. Today I'm going to be talking about coffee. So I believe I'm talking to the majority of Americans here when I'm talking about coffee. Specifically today I want to talk to you about Bulletproof Coffee, or what some refer to as Keto Coffee. Now, Bulletproof Coffee has been around for a while. It's got a bunch of different ingredients. Different people use different ingredients, so I'm going to go over some of the more popular ingredients that you can put in your Bulletproof Coffee. I personally had some this morning. I think it's delicious. Not only is it delicious, but it helps give you energy. So let me walk you through this. So my favorite way to make coffee is actually via French press. Takes a little longer, but it's a stronger version of the coffee, and I just love doing it that way. I like to use whole coffee beans, grind in the morning that I use it, so it's a little bit more fresh with taste. Organic is best. This one here is actually from one of our patients here at Well Health and Chiropractic, so thank you so much for that. And also, when you're done making the French press coffee, what I like to do is I'll pour it into some sort of blender. I like to use the Ninja. Some people like to use the Vitamix or Magic Bowl. It doesn't matter now, but it is key to make sure you use some sort of blender to mix it up. If you just try to mix all these ingredients together with like a teaspoon, it's not going to taste that great and it's not going to work. When you actually use a blender, it actually makes it like frothy and it mixes up really nice. It's almost like it has a creamer in it. So first things first, one of the most important ingredients that you can put in your Bulletproof Coffee is grass-fed. So this is Kerrygold Irish butter, okay? It's from grass-fed cows. Now this one's my favorite one to use. This one here, there's two different versions of Kerrygold butter. You have the salted and unsalted. I personally like the salted for the sake of the flavor. Now butter is about 80% butter fat. It's about 16 to 18% of it is water, and then about 2% is called milk fat. Now there are a few other things that people might use instead of grass-fed butter. One is clarified butter and one is ghee. Now the difference between regular butter, clarified butter, and ghee is when you boil this down, it actually boils out the milk fat. When you boil out that 2% of the milk fat, it actually increases the smoke point. So it's actually better to cook with like a clarified butter, even better to cook with what's called ghee. It raises the smoke point from 350 degrees to 450 degrees. So the grass-fed butter here, when you boil it down, it turns into clarified butter. However, when you actually let that caramelize, it turns into what is known as ghee. Ghee is used by many millions of people around the world. It's got many health benefits, but today for our purpose, we're going to go ahead and use this one here. Secondly, I want to talk to you about coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of the main ingredients put in Bulletproof Coffee. Now, coconut oil is made up, it has medium chain triglycerides in it. So pretty much there's different, every chain is made up of carbons. You have carbons from 6 chains all the way up to long chain fatty acids. Now there's 3 specific medium chain fatty acids that are in here and actually makes up this here. Now, of the medium chain fatty acids that are in coconut oil, lauric acid, or C12, that means it's got 12 carbons on the chain, it makes up the majority of this. Now the problem with the 12 carbon chain is even though it's an MCT, or a medium chain triglyceride, it actually acts as if it's a long chain triglyceride, meaning that it's not as usable by the body when it comes to crossing what's known as the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain barrier is very important. When the medium chain triglycerides can cross it, that's what really spikes your energy, helps with cognitive function. And so more importantly than the lauric or C12 is actually the C8 or the C10 medium chain triglyceride. The most powerful of those two is the C8. So C8, or caprylic acid, is the one that is the most readily available to cross that blood-brain barrier, okay? And then C10, or capric acid, is the one that can cross the barrier, but it has a harder time. So some people will actually substitute coconut oil for what's known as MCT oil. You can find it on Amazon. There's a bunch of MCT oils they can use. I have a patient that really likes certain ones and other ones that like other ones, but specifically the one that I want to recommend to you isn't just a regular MCT oil. It's actually a different type of oil. It's the more potent version of MCT oil, because MCT oil, only 60% of MCT oil is going to be your C8 or your 8 carbon chain, medium chain triglyceride. And then the other percentages make up that C10 and C12, the capric or lauric acid. So the one that I want to recommend is actually this one here. It's called the Bulletproof Brain Octane Oil. There's a few different versions, and this here is specifically, it's 99 to 100% C8 oil or caprylic acid, I'm sorry. And this here is going to give you the most bang for your buck, so to speak. Now, people that are using the ketosis diet or the keto diet really prefer to use this because it really helps with your energy and your cognitive function. I actually have a lady that just started using it, and she is like all just stoked about it because she's never felt so much energy in her life, and she's on about day 6 of doing the keto diet. And so you can imagine that it's a very powerful thing. Now, when you look at the directions, it'll say when you put this in your coffee or other things to use 1 serving size as a tablespoon. But now let me warn you, do not start off using a tablespoon, otherwise you may have an upset stomach, you may be sitting on the toilet for a while. So what I recommend, start off with a couple drops, work your way up to a teaspoon, then to 2 teaspoons, and then eventually a tablespoon of this in your coffee. This here is a great replacement for the coconut oil, but that does not mean to replace coconut oil altogether in your diet, because that lauric acid actually is very good for the gut, the intestinal flora, and it helps boost your immune system as well. So you shouldn't get this coconut oil out of your diet. Another thing I want to talk to you about is cinnamon. Cinnamon is a great thing to add to your coffee. It's got many benefits, especially for the blood. So you can use cinnamon there. Organic is best. Another thing is especially when you're doing the ketogenic diet, there's a lot of times you will deplete yourself of many of your minerals, and so there's a thing called the keto flu. When you start going into ketosis, there's like a 3 to 6 day gap where some people will experience a keto flu, where they get nauseous, kind of have flu-like symptoms. They get headaches, and so some ways to avoid getting that keto flu, or at least if you have it to get you through faster, is replenishing those minerals. Pink Himalayan salt is a great way to do just that. Did you know that pink Himalayan salt actually has 84 minerals in it? And so it's a fabulous way to replenish some of your body's lost minerals when you're doing the ketosis diet. So I highly recommend that. There's a few things that I did not set here. One of them being cacao powder. Raw cacao powder is another great thing that you can add to your Bulletproof coffee. Raw cacao powder is the more true version that's not cocoa. Okay, cocoa powder is pretty much the processed, the manufactured version of raw cacao powder. Raw cacao powder has many more benefits than cocoa. All right, so raw cacao, actually, did you know raw cacao powder has 20 times the antioxidants that your blueberries actually have? So that's why a lot of people will put that in their coffee, as well as many other benefits. So I just really appreciate you joining me today. This here is called Bulletproof Coffee or Keto Coffee. I want you to go ahead and try adding it into your daily regimen, especially if you're doing any type of intermittent fasting alongside your ketogenic diet. This here will not break the fast, okay? You can actually do this in the morning during your fasting time. A great fasting time is a 16/8 that I'm recommending for my patients. You can do this in the morning. The MCT or specifically your C8 MCT oils will help you get through that period without experiencing that hunger, and also give you that energy that you need. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a blessed day.